to lovely. Okay, so we're live now, that's official. So good morning to all panelists, guest speakers and attendees that have joined us for the first webinar of the GBSLEP Skills for Growth series. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we will be providing you with all of the information that you'll need to understand traineeships as a skills solution, and just sharing with you some of the benefits that traineeships can bring to your business, hopefully with the aim of helping you to decide whether this development program is the right solution for your business where it is at the moment. So before we get into the main body of the webinar, I did just want to give a very quick overview and introduction to the Skills and Apprenticeship Hub, just so that you know exactly who we are and what we do to support local businesses as well. So the Skills and Apprenticeship Hub, we launched in December 2020, and we are an integral part of the GBSLEP Growth Hub. So our services, we focus on providing impartial advice and guidance, and we are connectors. So we provide advice and guidance to SMEs that trade within 9 of the Greater Birmingham and Solihull districts. And these districts include East Staffordshire, Lichfield, Cannock Chase, Tamworth, Birmingham, Solihull, Bromsgrove, Redditch and the Wyre Forest. So for any SME that trades within any one of those 9 areas, we are definitely more than happy to help you. So our aim over here at the Skills and Apprenticeship Hub is to connect local employers to our network of local authorities. And this includes training providers and further education colleges as well. So we aim to help the businesses that we support to find the best skills solutions to promote and grow a talented workforce. To enable us to provide this service, we have designed a holistic training needs analysis, and that in essence is an assessment tool that allows us to firstly gain a deeper insight into the structure of your business. It allows us to identify any skills gaps that may be present and identify the right skills solutions that you may need to train and develop your workforce. And then finally, it allows us to refer your business to one of our approved partners. And the main point of that is by referring you to an approved partner, it allows you to access the funding and the delivery that you need for your identified skills solution. The Skills and Apprenticeship Hub, we are fully funded by the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. So that allows us to offer our services and the training needs analysis assessment completely free of charge. To date, we've completed over 100 training needs analysis assessments, connecting local employers to skills solutions such as the Kickstart Scheme, the Supplier Skills Programme, the Apprenticeship Levy Transfer, T-levels, and of course, traineeships. So on that note, that's all from me. I'd like to introduce our first guest speaker from the Education and Skills Funding Agency, and that is Steve.
Thanks, Evelia.
No worries.
Right, good morning everybody. As Evelia says, I'm Steve Laters. I'm Head of Traineeships at the Education and Skills Funding Agency. I'd just like to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk in this webinar and say a little bit more about traineeships, particularly as it's a developing programme, a growing programme, and it's being given significant investment, additional investment by the government in response to the impact of COVID as part of Plan for Jobs and the Skills White Paper. But for anybody out there who doesn't know what a traineeship is, a traineeship's a flexible education and training programme that's available to young people aged 16 to 24 or up to 25 if they've got an education and healthcare plan. And the programme can last between 6 weeks and up to 12 months. And that's one of the flexibilities that was introduced last September with the first round of additional investment. Previously, it was 6 weeks to 6 months. And there are 4 core elements to a traineeship. The first is a high quality work placement with an employer lasting between 70 and 240 hours. Work preparation training with a training provider, and that might be linked to a specific sector, or indeed one of the things we've been developing since last September is work preparation for a particular occupation. So, and I'll say a bit more about this later, we're developing occupational traineeships, as we call them, pre-apprenticeship programs, in things like bricklaying, steel fixing, digital, etc. English and maths if qualified below level 2, so that's the functional skills, and digital training with a training provider, and then an optional sector focused technical and professional qualifications to help learners prepare for the occupational standards. And as I say, what we're really trying to do now is for employers, providers, intermediaries, young people to really see traineeships as a pre-apprenticeship, pre-employment program. So young people aged 16 to 24, 25 with an education and healthcare plan are eligible for a traineeship, qualified up to level 3. Previously, pre-September last year, that was qualified up to level 2 with minimal work experience, but somebody who's really got a real focus on the prospects of work and apprenticeship, and actually taking part in a traineeship might make the difference between them being successful at an interview for an apprenticeship or a job, whereas pre-traineeship they may not have been. And at the end of it, get them ready for an apprenticeship employment following their traineeship, or indeed, we do see a good number of young people actually go back into further education at the end of a traineeship. So they're there to support, sorry, just go back to the slide, sorry.
Sorry, Steve.
All right, they're there to support young people to develop skills and experience needed for employment, and with a positive outcome of apprenticeship, employment, further education, but sustained employment is our, if you like, the overall aim. Next slide, please. I think one of the things that's really important about traineeships is the young people that are attracted to them in particular. 28% of all traineeship starts are from young people from a BAME background, and 23% from young people with learning difficulties and disabilities. So they're a program that's got a diverse range of young people joining them. And on the other side of the coin is a program that's where 56% of young people who start a traineeship are on benefits at the start of the program. And the important part I'd make there is that that means that over half of the referrals to traineeships we think come from Job Centre Plus, from young people on universal credit or job seekers allowance, but a good proportion come from other sources that providers engage with, like youth hubs, youth organisations, etc. Next slide, please. And again, they get good outcomes. The latest data shows that 66% of all trainees progress to a positive destination within 6 months of completing a traineeship, and 75% of those young people are in those same destinations a year after the traineeship. So from an employer perspective, they're good in terms of outcomes and retention. And over 80% or 83% of trainees perceive that the traineeship program helps them to improve their chances of getting an apprenticeship or a job. Next slide, please. So how can employers get involved? Well, our ask of employers is that they look at traineeships as a talent pipeline or a recruitment pipeline into opportunities, so apprenticeships and jobs. But the ask of the employers is to host a work experience placement for individuals who are on the programme, and that's agreed with the training provider. So very much employer-led, but a mutual agreement between the provider and the employer. The things to note are that the young people during the work experience placement are not employed, so there's no contract of employment required. But employers can, if they want, support young people with travel expenses and provide them with lunch, etc. And attendance at the workplace is flexible and will differ for individuals. So young people on a traineeship program may do three days of training, 2 days on their work experience, say 4 hours a day, or indeed they may do 6 weeks of training with a provider and then progress into a work experience placement that may be full time for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4. So, you know, there's a lot of flexibility there in terms of arranging, agreeing the content of the traineeship to suit the business, and also agreeing how the work experience placement is offered and takes place. Next slide, please. And for employers, in September last year, again, we introduced a £1,000 incentive payment for employers who offer and complete a work experience placement. The work experience placement must take place and be completed between today. They started last September, but today, and that incentive payment runs right through until the end of July 2022. The work experience placement must last for a minimum of 70 hours. It can last up to 240 hours. And employers can claim a maximum of 10 payments in each academic year. An academic year runs from August to July in each of the 9 English regions. So just to put that into perspective, if you're an employer who's just based in the Birmingham area, then you'll be able to claim up to 10 incentive payments. But if you're an employer who's got outlets in Birmingham, let's say the Northwest or the Southeast or the Southwest, you can claim up to 10 payments in each of those locations. So it's a maximum of 10 payments in each of the 9 English regions. If you've got a pan-English footprint, it will be up to a maximum of 90 payments overall. Next slide, please. So just in case everyone wants to know what they are, the 9 English regions are the East Midlands, East of England, London, North East, North West, South East, South West, the West Midlands, and Yorkshire and the Humber. And next slide, please. Right, I'm assuming, if you can confirm that, I'm assuming the slides will go out after the webinar. But just before I hand over, I just want to say a bit more about occupational traineeships. Traineeships have got those core contents of employability skills, occupational skills, functional skills, and work experience placement. And they may be designed to be quite broad in terms of young person saying they'd like to work in the retail sector or the construction sector and not really knowing what job they want to go to. But some young people do know what they want to do. And we've been working with a number of sectors. We started last November time with the rail sector and the construction sector to design traineeships that are focused on a particular apprenticeship standard or job. So we've designed between November last year, 2 traineeships, one in rail engineering and one in bricklaying, which are now underway and being piloted. The rail engineering one in Birmingham and London, and the bricklaying one in Hartlepool. But the news of being able to develop occupational traineeships is travelling fast, and we're now working with a number of sectors to develop occupational traineeships. And I'll just give you a run through some of the sectors. We're working with the transport and logistics sector, and we're developing them in rail engineering, vegetation management and tunnelling. With construction, we're developing them in bricklaying. Indeed, we've got the pilot, but we're starting to develop them in carpentry and joinery, plastering, civil engineering and steel fixing. We're also working with the health and social care sector to develop an occupational traineeship in adult social care, with the digital sector to develop occupational traineeships that will lead to apprenticeships in things like data science and programming. We're also working with the automotive sector to develop occupational trainees for that sector. So there's a lot going on, a lot of sectors that we're engaged with. I think the important thing for me is that the fact that we're starting to develop them is certainly bringing a significant number of new employers to the fore in terms of A, wanting to know what traineeships are, and B, offering the work experience element. And we've been inundated with employers, for example, on the bricklaying traineeship, we've got 23 young people in Hartlepool doing a 10-week traineeship for bricklaying. We've had 19 different employers, many of whom have never engaged with traineeships before, coming forward to offer the work experience opportunities because they see these traineeships or traineeships themselves as a very clear talent pipeline and recruitment method into the vacancies that they've got to fill the skills gaps that they've got. Right, I'll stop there, Evelia, and I'm not sure who am I handing over to. I wasn't sort of filling in late for Tony.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Steve.
So I think it's over to me. So Hi everyone, my name is Becky Waterfield. I'm the Head of Employer Engagement here at City College Birmingham. For those of you who don't know the college, we are a large general FE college with 7 campuses across the city. We normally have on a good year about 22,000 full-time students and over 1,000 apprentices. And basically we can deliver training in most areas. The one exception is probably animal care. We don't do an awful lot in. We've worked with employers to deliver traineeship programs in the past and are ready and able to continue to do so. Our dedicated team of employer engagement consultants work with companies to develop a bespoke and tailored traineeship to meet the skills needs of the organisation. So we try not to do things off the shelf. Our guys will meet with you as an employer to understand what your requirements are, understand what the potential progression is for the candidates and what skills you need them to develop. We will offer a completely free and full recruitment service for employers of the potential trainees by advertising the roles on your behalf. We advertise on the National Apprenticeship Service website, but also we've got very strong links with local community organisations such as St Basil's, Prince's Trust, and lots of community centres. Part of our Youth and Employment Hub is that we've collated about 60 organisations. The list's growing every day, so they can refer candidates into us. And whilst the candidates are on programme, they'll have full support of the college with ongoing mentoring and pastoral support for the guys. We appreciate some of these guys may not have worked before and may need that extra support. One of the programmes we're running at the moment is called Ignite, aimed at 19 to 24-year-olds who are probably a little bit further away from the job market. They may have been on the grey economy, so they may not have been claiming, but may not have had work. And we link them into jobs in security and construction. But the programme is run by Jelani Brown, Apache Indian, for those of you who might remember Apache Indian. We've got some ex-England cricketers delivering it, so it's about being very aspirational. And these kids come to us for a 10-week programme and they get their SIA badge to go into security or their construction badge on completion. And the transformation is really heartwarming to see. It's a really worthwhile programme. So a little while ago, we did run a business admin traineeship for Birmingham City Council. It was over 8 weeks where the guys came to college for 1 day a week and did 4 days a week on placement at Birmingham City Council. What the council wanted was to really develop these guys' employability skills and being able to work as part of a team. So we did a lot of work and a lot of fun activities about how to work well in a team, how to communicate, how to look at your own positive qualities and what transferable skills they may have had. A lot of individuals, when they say transferable skills, don't really know what that means. But for example, if you've got someone that's worked in or played in a football team for many years, there's lots of transferable skills there around communication, teamwork, leadership, and it's understanding those, bringing those skills to the forefront. Next one, please. We did a lot around communication. That was very important to Birmingham City Council, that the guys could, as you can imagine, the council is such a vast organisation, so that they need to be able to talk to people of lots and lots of different positions, different seniorities. Of course, they did their English and maths as part of the programme if they didn't have it, and everyone was offered an interview with the potential to progress onto a business admin apprenticeship. We've actually just, hot off the press, I was in talks yesterday, like last night, so I haven't had time to update the slides, with a group of companies who want us to design a traineeship which is centred around digital marketing. So we're looking at putting on a 10-week programme where they'll do a level 1 or level 2 qualification with us in digital marketing on 1 day a week and work in the companies, one of which is actually a esports company, so promotes gaming competitions. I would have never thought that was a job, but there's a huge industry in esports. And I think that would be really attractive to young people to understand the industry and to develop those digital marketing skills with the view that they'll progress onto a level 3 digital marketing apprenticeship. And as Steve has said, Traineeships is an excellent way for a pre-apprenticeship programme. It gives the candidates the base level skills they'll need. And for an employer, it's a real risk-free way for you to get to know these candidates, get to develop their skills, see how they work with you and your team. So yep, they can progress into work, apprenticeships and further study. Apprenticeships, I'm sure you'll know, if you don't know, there are thousands of them out there at the moment. You can be an apprentice nuclear scientist if you wanted to be, an apprentice paper maker, even an apprentice head teacher. Who'd have thought it? So the world is there to progress entry level into an apprenticeship, but actually that journey doesn't have to stop. We now have got accreditation to run degree level apprenticeships in construction, and we work closely with universities who offer other degree level apprenticeships. So that person can enter, say, a level 2 base level apprenticeship or level 3 and progress all the way up to get their degree or their master's degree through an apprenticeship, which is either part or fully funded depending on your organisation and the size of the organisation. I'll put my details in the chat. If you want to find out more, just have a natter with us about how it works, feel free to get in touch, and thank you very much for listening.
Unmute myself. Thank you, Rebecca, for handing over. So I'm Samantha Sanders. I work in the business development team at PTP Training. We cover the West Midlands on a scale of 5 facilities in Walsall, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Cannock and Stoke-on-Trent. Again, offering a broad spectrum of traineeships and apprenticeships. So what I'm going to go through today, so what does a programme look like, a traineeship programme look like? So the great thing about a traineeship programme, it's not one size fits all. Traineeships are aimed at young people that have not worked before or have very little experience in the working world, and it's to help support them with barriers that may have to help them progress into a workplace or into a career. Typically, a programme with ourselves will last 10 weeks. It can be shorter, it can be longer. And during this time, a young person would complete an award in employability, looking at CV writing, interview technique, and refine their skills and attributes to support that learner into a work placement. As part of the programme, a learner would also complete a vocational qualification relevant to the job role that they'll be completing in their work experience placement in your organisation. And this could be an award in customer service, health and safety, prevent infection and control. And this is where we can really bespoke your programme to meet the needs of your organisation. The learner would also receive support with maths and English functional skills should they need that support, and it allows us to be a mentor for that young person who hasn't actually stepped their or dipped their toe into the world of work before. So the beauty of the programme, we can mould your learner to suit your business. So the needs and requirements that you need for your organisation, we can implement those into your programme and into the recruitment and training processes. I'm sure you'll agree that investing time in training into a young person is a long-term investment, which can reap huge benefits to your organisation. And you could think of a traineeship really as a kind of try before you buy exercise. So you're under no obligation to employ a trainee. However, feedback is key. So we support your learners to address their barriers in order to help them progress into work. And we find that the feedback from employers here is really helpful. Next slide, please. So progression routes. We do, like every employer that we work with, to have some form of opportunity for a trainee to hopefully progress if they perform well on placement. Following a traineeship, if you decide your trainee is someone you would like to further develop, you could make an offer of employment for an apprenticeship or a further progression for that young person. We also offer short courses following the work experience placement. If a development area has been identified, such as telephone skills or etiquette or the use of Excel or Office packages, we can add that onto or tag that onto the end of a traineeship programme just to help bridge that gap from a learner into an employee. again, it's another way that we can bespoke the programme to suit you and to suit the learner. As you're aware, I'm sure, and it's been mentioned previously, there is a £1,000 incentive for an employer willing to take on a young person as a trainee. Again, this could be seen as an investment opportunity to invest that £1,000 into paying costs towards a wage for a new employee, should this trainee progress with your organisation. To give you a brief example of a case study, case study 1 is about a young learner called Dom. Dom started off in sixth form. He gained his 6s and 7s GCSE grades. To those of you who are old, that's A's and B's at GCSE, old such as me. And Dom had mentioned during one of my IOG sessions in his school that ultimately he wasn't taken to sixth form. He'd got his grades and he'd gone to sixth form because he thought that's what he should do, but he wanted to become an engineer, and how could we do that? So we discussed a traineeship programme with Dom. Dom turned up to sessions every day. He was really willing to learn, completed his employability, generated a perfect CV to get into an engineering apprenticeship. And we found a work experience placement with Mellish Engineering for Dom. Dom completed 5 weeks there on placement and has been now offered an engineering apprenticeship. So he started that a few weeks ago. Case study 2 for Megan. Megan had made lots of applications to us for dental nursing, but was really struggling because of her maths grade. She wasn't being given the opportunity even of an interview because her grades just weren't there. So when we spoke to Megan, Megan was one of those people that you need to see face to face. I think an application wouldn't do her justice, but she needed to relay and find a way to get these skills over to her employer. So of course we went through an employability qualification with Megan. She completed her prevent infection control qualification just to make that CV a bit more attractive. And then I approached a dental company that we were working with and just said, look, you're looking for an apprentice. Why not try a traineeship here? We've got a young girl who's completing this programme and she could do 2 weeks for you. You could try before you buy. I'm happy to say Megan's progressed now. She passed a maths grade and now she's also progressed onto dental nursing level 3 with that company. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I hope the information and some of the examples I've given you have been useful and that they've given you an insight into the traineeship programmes and how they look. If you would need any more information or have any questions at all, please do contact us and our details are on here, which the slides will go around. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Sam, and thank you for sharing those case studies as well. So just as we're drawing to a close with the webinar, we've gave you all the facts, the statistics around traineeships, the benefits and the structure of a traineeship development programme. And I do hope that some of the information that we've shared with you today aligns with your business plans and some of your aspirations for growth as well. If that is the case, and from what you've heard today, you would like to explore the possibility of offering a young person a traineeship, here are a few ways that the Skills and Apprenticeship Hub can help to prepare your business. I would say that the most important thing is to earmark some vacancies. So if you're considering taking on board a traineeship placement, is there potential for that young person to take on a part-time or full-time permanent role within your business? You know, we're all very aware that youth unemployment is on the rise, and mapping out what a development journey for a young person looks like from the very beginning of the process is always something that we definitely encourage our clients and the employers that we work with to start thinking about from the very early stages. In terms of considering a plan for succession, ask yourself the question as an employer, you know, if in 5 years' time, what do the future leaders of your business look like? Does your business have people in place to continue some of the great work and the great skills that you're already building within your workforce? And just, you know, think about if some of your current seniors left, would their skills and their expertise leave with you know, the key speakers have all spoken quite candidly about the fact of using traineeships to mentor young people. And if you've got some absolutely fantastic talent and expertise within your business at the moment, why not impart some of that knowledge and share some of that, some of those skill sets with a young person? And think about identifying any skills gaps, and that's something that the Skills Hub can really help you to do through the training needs analysis. We'll sit down with you, map out what the structure of your business looks like, and identify any skills gaps that may be quite important for the growth and development of your business. And that's where a traineeship could really bridge and close that skills gap for you there. So those are just some final thoughts to leave you with. And of course, you know, stay in contact and let the Skills Hub support you with that journey as well, even if you do have any further questions or you're just like an impartial discussion surrounding what you've heard today. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. And as I've said, you know, let's stay connected. So I've left some of the links to our socials below. I've mentioned at the start of the webinar, today is the first of a Skills for Growth series. So throughout this month, we'll be back every week or every fortnight or so with another event to hopefully get you thinking about skills for the workplace and skills for development. And our next event will be on the 15th of July. And that's next Thursday, actually. And that is an event focused around T-levels. So that is all from me. I'm going to hand over to Wakar now. If you'd like to just check the chat function, see if you've got any questions in the chat, and we can have a Q&A if there are any.
Thanks, Evelia. Thanks to all the panelists as well. Rebecca, Samantha and Steve, thanks for doing your presentations. There's nothing in the chat box. We have if you want to say,
yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes, very interesting because I've recently, you know, opened up a gardening business, and it's been very successful, extremely successful, due to this COVID as well. I'm on the Kickstart. My job, I've created two job vacancies for a garden assistant and a I forgot the other one, but yeah, it was two. It's like I can't think right now, but I do apologize. I know what I've done. My main thing is this sounds very extremely important, and my question is, how can I get onto it or get more information about it moving forward? Because I think it's good. It is very good. So I would like to definitely get onto this. That's my question.
Fantastic. And what's your name, sir, if you don't mind me asking?
Samson Hines.
Samson. Hi, Samson. Yes, so you've already met with one of the Skills Hub team to access the Kickstart scheme. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I'm on the Kickstart. My job vacancies it goes live today
Right.
for landscaping assistant, gardening assistant, and a what's those people in the office called? Sorry, I forgot.
Maybe an admin?
Clerical. Yeah, clerical.
Okay. Right, lovely. So the next steps for yourself, Samson, because your name does ring a bell, and I do believe we've worked with you in some support capacity before. So the next steps would be, let's book a quick catch up. We'll have a look at your training needs analysis, and we'll map out some traineeship opportunities that may be a best fit for your business. From there, we'll be able to signpost you or refer you to one of our partners. So we've got South and City College on the call today. We've also got PTP, and you know, these are just examples of the partners that we're working with that are happy to put in place the first steps to get your traineeship up and running. So first port of call is, let's have a catch up, see what some of the opportunities you may be thinking about, and we can work from there in terms of getting you connected with a provider.
Okay, so just sit back now, wait for you guys to get in contact with me.
We'll definitely reach out. Your name sounds really familiar, Samson. So I've seen you on our recently contacted list.
I think my name is just famous. That's it. That's all.
Okay, lovely. But yes, we'll get in touch, Samson. It probably will be from myself, but that's no problem at all. And glad to hear that your Kickstart vacancies have been approved and are going live. That's really good news.
Yeah, very good. It's good to help the people, you know, the young kids. You know, like you mentioned, it's on the rise now, especially with this COVID. It's good to, because they are our future, so we need to help them as much as we can.
Absolutely. Thank you, Samson.
Okay, you guys, that's it for me.
Thanks, Samson.
Thanks, Samson. Thanks all. See you.
Lovely.
Bye-bye.